'Mid pleasures and palaces, though we may roam, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. A charm from the sky seems to hallow us there, which seek through the world is ne'er met with elsewhere. Home, home, sweet, sweet home, there's no place like home.
Hello and welcome to episode 5.18, the May 20th, 2026 Staycation edition of Notes from the Aisle Seat, the podcast that covers the arts in northern Chautauqua County, sponsored by the 1891 Fredonia Opera House. My name is Tom Laughlin, and I'm your host as we bring you news and information about arts events at the Opera House and around the region, including interviews with artists and creators across the county. Having been home now for just about a month, I can attest that there's no place like home, and I'm more than ready for a summer staycation. Lucky for me, this is the final episode of Season 5 for the 2025-26 artistic year at the Opera House. We have a few changes in mind for Season 6, but I'll talk about those a little later on in the podcast. This marks the 97th episode of the podcast, and according to our statistics, since we began, we've had over 4,400 downloads from the website alone, not counting listeners who get the podcast from sites other than our Podbean site, such as Facebook, other podcasting apps, or our YouTube channel. I remain amazed that anyone at all listens to this podcast, and I am very grateful to those of you who listen faithfully every other Wednesday. It's remarkable that what first started as a retirement/COVID-19 project in September of 2021 is now a regular feature of the Opera House's offerings. What a fun and entertaining journey it's been. Right now, however, we have a podcast to get going, and let's kick this episode off with a howl. A 10 Cent Howl, to be precise.
I'm heading back to the country where my parents lived before me. Back to that woman who adored me. Back to my home. Yeah, I've wasted all my money.
Bill Smith, a local singer-songwriter who has lived in Western New York all his life, will be bringing his band, 10 Cent Howl, to the 1891 Fredonia Opera House on Friday, May 29th at 7:30 p.m. I started out the interview by asking Bill where the name 10 Cent Howl came from. If you're a fan of Americana roots music and a rustic flavor to it, you're going to want to get yourself down to the 1891 Fredonia Opera House on Friday, May 29th at 7:30 p.m. to hear the music of 10 Cent Howl. And with me now is, I guess, the member of the group. He's the kind of the front man. He's a singer-songwriter. He does the vocals. He's out there out front leading the group, and his name is Mr. Bill Smith. Bill, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Tom. Happy to be here.
Great, wonderful. Okay, so let's start off the interview with the obvious question, shall we? The name of the group, 10 Cent Howl. You know, I had this idea that since you guys were like into, you know, a sort of an Americana that was pre-technological, that you enjoyed the country when everything cost a dime, so that's why it's 10 Cent Howl. But that may not be right.
You're pretty spot on. Going back, you know, we had a band back in Fredonia, actually, where we went to Jerry Hall, the bass player, and I are the sort of founding members of the band. He's also sings backup vocals for the most part with me in Fredonia. And we had a band, and it was a horrible name called Greenhouse Effect because we worked in a greenhouse during the summers in Dunkirk.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, so Greenhouse Effect. There we go. And then one day, things changed, and we had a new sort of band together, and we were looking for a name for it. And I was living out in Buffalo, and I started going through some old poetry books that I had, and I was just highlighting phrases and things that I could pick out that sounded like a band name. And there's some old beatnik poetry. I think it was Ferlinghetti had a book of, and we were going through, and there was 10 Cent Howl was a phrase in a poem. It's poet laureate from UB. Boy, his name's escaping me for a minute now. But anyway, the phrase that jumped out at me was he was referring to walking through the streets of San Francisco in the bar district at night, and the jukeboxes were playing all along. And he said the 10 Cent Howl of the jukeboxes was roaring through the streets. And I just highlighted 10 Cent Howl because I thought, oh, there's a quick band name too,
Uh-huh.
And when I brought it to the guys after that little exercise, that was the name that jumped out at them as a good band name. So we went with it. And 20 years later, here we are.
Well, I mean, I
It's
like
tough.
the name. I can't, 10 Cent Howl is great, but I'm old enough to remember when the jukebox was a nickel, so we won't even talk about that. You could guys call yourselves the Buffalo Nickel Howl, and you'll be better off, right?
Now we're talking, yeah.
So just a little bit of reminiscing, if you don't mind, because of course the 1891 Fredonia Opera House in Fredonia, and I understand that you and I guess one other member of the band went here. How were your college days down here? What do you
Yeah,
remember?
so it was actually back in the late 90s. I'm originally from Silver Creek. I went to high school in Silver Creek, but my mom's side of the family was from Fredonia, lived down in Van Buren, and then I went to school in Fredonia. And Jerry Hall, as I mentioned, bass player and vocalist, he was originally from Amherst, but he went to SUNY Fredonia. And then the guitar player, original guitar player's name was Harmony Griffin. He now started a band called Uncle Ben's Remedy, but he played with us for about 15 years as well, too. Uncle Ben's Remedy is a pretty popular sort of country rock Americana band in the area as well, too. And he is from Gowanda originally, but we met it, here in Western New York, but in Fredonia as well. He went to school there. And so the three of us really living down on Lambert Street in a house of, good times for college kids. We all kind of had our little flop house down there, and we played music and started from there. And then all of us ended up moving to Buffalo around the same time, and we kept it going in Buffalo. So, yeah.
So you're all basically Western New York natives.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I listened to a couple of your songs that you have available on your website and things like that. I think one of them was Western New York, in fact, and I couldn't tell whether he was celebrating being in Western New York or singing about being stuck in Western New York.
It's a love-hate relationship. No, I love Western New York. I've lived here, all my life, really.
Yeah.
From Chautauqua County and bounced around up around in Buffalo for the most part as well too. But yeah, no, and that's a great song. That song mentions Fredonia as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great. That's really great. So I love the local connection. I love the fact that you guys are all from Western New York and have the experience and you're coming to the Opera House. That's great. Let's talk about what's going to go happen at the Opera House too, because I understand that you guys are going to have a new CD release, sort of a preview or kind of thing. We can't exactly call it a party because we don't party at the Opera House, but
yeah.
But it's going to be new, never before heard stuff.
Yeah, it is. So we've been on break for about 3 months recording music. It's songs I've been writing for the past couple of years of, 11 songs will be on the album. We actually recorded 13, but we're going to save a couple of those singles for later release. But yeah, we recorded, actually, so I recently bought 40 acres of land out in Casadega.
Wow.
That's where I'm sitting right now, is in Casadega. Was living down in Angola and Lakeshore Road down there, and now I'm living out here in Casadega.
Okay.
I'm going to be building a house here, but it's interesting. We're calling the album From the Maple Downs, and the reason we're calling it From the Maple Downs is that the place I bought used to be a bar, kind of a roadhouse bar on the side of Route 60, with a big campgrounds in the back. And at some point in the 90s, they turned it into a duplex. And then I bought it, and it's kind of laid out still like a bar in the downstairs area, open space. And we fixed it up and turned it into a little studio space. And we had a guy, John Angelo, who is a sound engineer works with GCR Studios, that's the Goodell Studios and all that in Buffalo a lot. And he has a mobile setup, and we got together here out in the woods of Casadega and put together a pretty nice album, I would say, of 11 songs. And we call it From the Maple Downs, as sort of a homage to the band and Dylan in the band from the Big Pink there. So,
Yeah, there you go.
from the Pink, yes.
Music from Big Pink, yeah.
The Pink, yeah.
Well, I probably passed your place like any number of times.
Oh
then,
yeah,
I guess,
most people do. Yeah, it used to be a bar. So and it was funny too. Our drummer got a hold of, I think it was somebody from the Historical Society. So our drummer, we have a new drummer from Dunkirk now, and he got a hold of somebody from the Casadega Historical Society, and they were able to locate the original sign from the bar.
Wow.
And so we have a picture of it to use for our album as well.
Oh, nice.
From the Maple Downs. Yeah.
Nice.
Maple
nice.
Downs Bar. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you ought to put that back up,
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're a very, very prolific songwriter. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff, and it's an impressive catalog of songs. And I wonder if you describe your music a little bit, because I know it's kind of Americana music, but it's very, has a sort of a lonesome, lost and found, melancholy, celebratory kind of aspect to it. Can you categorize it for yourself?
I like to use melancholy and celebratory. People always say, people love dancing to my songs, and then when they listen to the lyrics, they realize they're not as happy as they sound. Yeah, it's I grew up a child of a musician, actually musicians, but my father plays locally still. He's Bill Smith Sr. is his name, and he plays all around Fredonia quite a bit too. He plays mostly, folk rock cover music, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, John Prine, and those sorts of old folk musicians, and got into old country music and all that too. Sort of set the framework for my interest in music, listen to it in the cradle, so to speak.
Oh yeah, so to speak, yeah.
So that's where it comes from. But over time, growing up and studying, loving music, different genres start to come in, and my dad also played in a blues band a lot too. So you have blues and you have, rock, and then as a teenager getting into more alternative rock and things. And, and I think Western New York, like the song, it's an interesting place too, because you have such a diversity within our area too, of rural and urban, and you can go from downtown Buffalo to, out the country in 20 minutes drive,
Yeah.
And being able to experience the music of different sorts of regions and piecing those together, those influences together, and learning how to play with other musicians. I mean, I was playing with a bluegrass band when I was going to Fredonia, out at the old Fredonia Lodge out there in Brockton,
Oh,
and
yes.
learning to play mandolin, and I love playing mandolin too. And so bluegrass and country and rock, and just try and piece that all together and fiddle around with some melodies from those influences, and then be able to put it into song. And I've just been kind of doing that for a long time, probably since I was a kid, and probably have over 100 songs or so that I've written over the years. Some get recorded, some don't. So.
Yeah. Before I let you go, where else are you going to be playing? I mean, the summer's coming up, music season is coming up, and you must have some other gigs hopefully lined up for the summer
Yeah.
if people can see you around the region.
Yeah, for sure. We have our home away from home has been Sportsman's Tavern in Buffalo. For those who aren't familiar, it's sort of a little mecca of Americana music here in Buffalo, on a national scene as well too. A lot of touring bands and things come through there, and you can sit there and hang out with some Western New York legends too, and listen to music. And so we're playing there June 20th. I'm sure John Lombardo from 10,000 Maniacs will be sitting there listening to.
Oh,
He's
that's
usually
good.
at our shows there.
Oh, I love the Sportsman's Tavern. It's a great
Yeah,
venue.
it's a great place. And so our previous recordings were done by Dwayne Hall. He produced them. He's the owner of Sportsman's Tavern. And so we're playing there June 20th. And then the 4th of July celebration, they have a big outdoor complex there too. And we're opening for the great Bill Kirchen there as well too. So on 4th of July. And then we have some shows over the summer at some great outdoor venues like Blueberry Treehouse Farm out in West Falls, which is a super cool place. Sunset at the Stables at Knox Farms, which is sponsored by 42 North. So a lot of great outdoor shows over the summer too. So all on our website, social media, 10 Cent Howl. You can check it all out there.
Yeah, and I understand that you're actually going to, like, you're playing the gig on Friday night at the Opera House, and then turn around right Saturday the next day and going
Yeah,
over to the Hamburg
I
Music
forgot
Festival
that Hamburg's
too.
the next day. I keep forgetting about Hamburg.
Don't
It's
forget
easy.
about Hamburg now.
Yeah, well,
Come on. You got the main stage gig out there too.
Yes, no, we do, and I'm excited. We play there every year, and it's great. I think we've got a PA line and Strictly Hip playing with us there that night too. So it'll be a great show. At the Opera House too, we'll have some guests sitting in on some songs from other great bands in the area. It is a brotherhood, a friendship among a lot of Western New York musicians. Leroy Towns Band, which is another great Americana band. Beav and Ashley, they'll be sitting in with us. Harmony from Uncle Ben's Remedy was supposed to sit in with us, but he double booked himself.
Oh.
But Emily Hall, who plays is Jerry's daughter, has been up and coming local musician, will be sitting in. So we'll have the whole. Try and bring some of the friends and family in that are part of that whole community as well at the Opera House. So
That's great. That's great, Bill. I really want to thank you for your time, and I know this is going to be a really wonderful event, because if people haven't heard your music, they got to get to your website, 10centhowl.com. Look at your Facebook. You've got your music is there, videos, everything. You're a very, very entertaining band, and thanks for letting us be the place where you're going to introduce your new CD. I think that's wonderful.
Honor. I mean, to play in a place like Opera House, come on. It's been almost a dream, to be honest. I haven't been in there since I was in my 20s, and I'm incredibly excited about it, actually.
It's a little different, Bill.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. It's great.
Well, good. Thanks for your time, and I can't wait to see you out there.
All right. Thanks so much, Tom.
10 Cent Howl will play at the 1891 Fredonia Opera House on Friday, May 29th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $15 for adults, $13 for members, and $10 for students. For tickets, call the box office at 716-679-1891 or go online at www.fredopera.org/tickets. Memorial Day is quite early this year, but early or not, you can always rely on the art trail as a sure sign of the beginning of the summer season of events in Chautauqua County. Sponsored by the North Shore Arts Alliance, the Art Trail allows people to spend a weekend traveling around the county to visit the studios of several of the NSAA members and purchase their work. Ceramic artist Marcia Merrins and Art Trail co-chair Melissa Meyers joined me to talk about this year's spring event. Well, when you see the dandelions start to sprout out from the grass and you see the magnolia trees start to let their blooms go, you know it's spring. But there's one sure sign of spring, and that's when you start to see the art trail signs pop up all around Chautauqua County. And with me now to talk about this year's Memorial Weekend Arts Trail is Melissa Meyers. She's going to be one of the artists that is coming up. And of course, Marcia Merrins, who is one of the honchos of the whole thing. So ladies, welcome to you both.
Welcome, welcome to you too. We're glad you're here. Melissa is a co-chair
Oh,
of the art trail with, as well as an artist on the art trail, and she shares that heavy burden of running the art trail with a gal named Siri Beeson, who was on this broadcast last year.
So Marcia, let me start with you, if I may, just to get a little background. The Arts Trail has been around for quite some time, but I really don't know how long. It seems like forever. So can you give us a short background?
I'm a little fuzzy about it myself, to be honest with you, but I think it's what, 13 years, Melissa, maybe more? How
Yeah,
much more?
I think we're 17 years this year.
17 years, yeah. I wasn't at the front end of it, close to the front end, but I wasn't at the front end of it. So 17 years. I actually came across a brochure from 2009 or something
Wow.
like that. So it has been around for quite a while, but the organization I think is a little bit older than that, possibly.
Right, and that's the North Shore Arts Alliance. And
Correct.
you know what I want to just comment on about that before we, continue on is that I started to look at the North Shore Arts Alliance webpage, the artists there, and then I said to myself, I ought to count them. And I think I got up to over 60 artists at least on that website. 60 artists in Chautauqua County itself. Amazing.
We have North Shore Arts Alliance has over 100 members, many of whom 99% are artists, and there's 38 of them who are joining us on the art trail in 16 locations. So it is really a celebration of the community. It's a celebration of creativity. And it helps local commerce for that wonderful Memorial Weekend. And it goes all across Chautauqua County. So every community has a role to play in providing opportunities for visitors that live in Chautauqua County, but also we get a lot of visitors from out of Chautauqua County as well.
Melissa, let's turn to you for just a second. And what I like to do is talk a little bit about your artwork, because you're going to be on the art trail, obviously. And I was looking at your website. You're a little bit of a whimsical painter, I see that.
I do like to experiment. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I also have quite a few pieces that are realistic, in realism, but also the whimsical fish is one of my favorite ones to do. And I recently started a Galaxy series, which has been interesting and fun. So I will have those available as well.
Oh, great. Tell me a little bit about just a little bit more about those fish, because I mean, they're unusual, and I think if people come into the art trail, will look at them, and they'll go, well, they're colorful, they're whimsy. How did you get the inspirations to start that particular series?
Actually, it was a series that I simply was doing in my studio for relaxation, for my own personal, just fun, I guess. And then one day I was looking through my sketchbook with all these different fish in it. It's like, maybe some other people would like looking at those, not just me. So, so I started creating them, and doing prints of them, and I turned them into some very like fun little coasters. Got
Oh,
these coasters. These are some of my newer fish, and
oh,
they'll be
those
available.
are cute. The audience won't be able to see those. I'll have to get I'll
I
have to
know.
get an image of them for the website and just put it on my show notes for it so they can see them. But those are adorable. They'll be available, I assume. Yeah.
Absolutely, they will be.
Yeah. That's really great. And where's your studio located? I think it's called White Porch, but I wasn't sure where it's located.
Yep, it's called White Porch Studios, and it's actually in my house.
Hmm.
And it's not, I can't be on the art trail because it's on the second floor, so it's not accessible for people. So I join other hubs, which is awesome with the art trail because there's quite a few artists like me that have a studio in their house, but it's not accessible really for the public. So I get to gather up my pieces and join other artists and have a great time during the weekend.
That's great. And I know, Marcia, of course, you're a ceramist. Probably everybody's very familiar with Nitty Gritty Studios, which you've had for quite some time. But I did notice, and correct me if I'm wrong, but usually I check in and I see that you're doing these wonderful pieces with just feet and a little like an opening on the bottom. What the bowls? Yeah, the bowls.
That's the early March Merrins. Of course, I have the footed bowls around, but I have some new work this year, which has me absolutely tickled, and I'm looking forward to seeing visitors' faces when they see my dragon and dragon baby. They're really very cute. I'm with them myself. So that's one of the things we're doing, and some I was doing, and some singing raku fired faces, not faces, but figures of singing choirs. So it's kind of fun, really. But all the artists have new work that they're eager to show you, talk about what inspired them, how they make it happen, and some of the challenges you might find when you go to a gallery and you look at the works there, you never really talk to the artist. Here you have an opportunity to talk to the artist. The artists have to be with their work on the art trail. So you never really get to learn about how it came to pass and what are the challenges of creating the pieces. So I find the art trail fun to do because I love to talk about what I do and how I do it. And I think it's usually quite a surprise for people who are on the art trail. Melissa talked about hubs, and that's one of the unique things. There are studios that are accessible. So you really get to see, in many cases, the actual place where the artist created, as well as the different stages. It becomes like a little tutorial on how I do this. And that's one of the great things about the art trail. It's so unique in that regard. We do have hubs, so there are artists that are gathered together in tents or underneath porches or wherever to be able to share their insights into their work. So it's very exciting in that way. And it's a driving tour.
Right.
So it's kind of fun. You fill up your car with your girlfriends, you go for coffee at Sacred Grounds, and then you go for lunch at 21 Bricks, and you'll find artists sitting there as part of the tour. So it's a wonderful place, wonderful thing to do.
It is really nice. I really, really enjoy it. Melissa, can I ask you, you have to join a hub. Who are you partnering with this year?
I'm going to be in Jamestown at the Edgewater Art House off of 8th Street. It's on the corner of 8th and Jones and Gifford.
Mhm.
So it's actually part of the resource center. It's a little difficult to find, so we will have some signage to help people find it. Because you actually go like behind the building towards the river, towards the Chattacorn River.
Yeah.
And then if you look to the left, you will see the Edgewater Art House. It's at the very end of the parking lot.
Yeah, I've never really been there yet or even passed by it.
Nor have I. I haven't been on the art trail yet.
Well, I wonder why, Marcia. But I think I need to go down there and take a look at that Edgewater. I probably passed it a number of times without knowing it, but it's probably a very nice location. You have a brochure there, Marcia, you're waving.
I am. I'm waving it at you because you mentioned the website. We do have a website that has a map and a guide. It'll show you where the artists are located so you can plan your trip. But for those who are anti-computer when they're on the road or don't want to use their phone, we have printed guides, which is course, it's not interactive. I'm just showing it to you, but nobody can see it, of course. But
Right.
it'll guide you. And these are all around different locations in all of our communities. They're at libraries now. They're at restaurants, wherever somebody will let us leave a stack of them. We have these. So look for these when you're around, and then you'll have a paper copy. Uh, and what's good about that is the addresses are in here. So if you don't want to use your Google Maps or whatever, you can just, figure it out using that.
Yeah, well, the interactive map is really good for planning, I think, if you can get on the web. But what's nice about the brochure is you could just see the pictures, and also you can put those addresses right into Google Maps and just get you'll get right there. You're scattered all the way out from close to Ellington, all the way over to the LMNOP gallery, which I think is somewhere near
German.
Sherman. So, people can take quite a journey to see all of these arts things. And I'm glad that there are some participating places along the way to be able to pick up, some food or some coffee, or, sit with a little wine and cheese someplace.
Melissa probably will talk a little bit about the passport, since it's her one of her babies that
Ah,
she puts together. And this is to encourage people to try to hit some of the out of the way places that you just mentioned, Tom, because oftentimes, there are artists and hubs that are clustered, and then there's one artist, all the way out in Gowanda, not on this trail, but just saying. And so we were trying to figure out a way to get to encourage people on the driving tour to try to go to out of way places. Melissa, tell you more about it.
what do you got? What do you got on the passport, Melissa?
Well, the passport, what we've done with that is all the addresses of all the stops are there, and each location has a stamp that they will stamp the passport that you've been there. And then whether people do the whole trail or part of the trail, wherever their last stop is, they turn in that passport for a chance to win a gift certificate. And the gift certificate, we have 4 different levels available, everywhere from $100 down to $25. So it's based on how many locations you visit. And then people can just drop that at their last location. And then we pull the winners after Labor Day. Because you can use that passport, you can use it for Memorial Day and do part of the art trail, hang on to it for Labor Day and finish up the rest of the art trail.
Yeah, I was actually going to just
You
ask you
drop
about
it
that.
off at the last spot.
Right.
Last stop, you leave it.
At the very last stop, and you can split it up between the 2 art trails. When you think about the art trail, you really got 4 days to kind of do it all, in a sense. You've got the Labor Day weekend, you've got the Memorial Day weekend, and it makes for a very convenient thing. Ladies, is there anything else I should know about the art trail this year? Or
Yes, there is, as a matter of fact.
let it go.
I'll let Melissa talk about the emerging student artist program.
Yeah, so that is new this year, and we're very excited about it. So what we did is we approached a couple area high schools to see if the art teachers would be interested in having some of their students show their work on the art trail and basically be on the trail for a day. So basically, they would show their artwork and be on the art trail for a day, and they can network with the artists that are there at that location. They can get a feel for what it's like to promote your own artwork to the general public, which is something students just never do. And then we provided them with frames so that they are professionally displayed. And we're going to have, the grid walls and ways for the students to display it. So from Jamestown, we've got 5 students. One of them is a photographer. One of them is a jewelry artist. And her jewelry is really amazing because she's so precise with like bending the wires. It looks like she bought a chain somewhere and then created her jewelry from that, but she handmade every single link on these chains. It's really, really amazing. And she'll be with us at the Edgewater Art House on Sunday. And the other artists, their work is just incredible for high school art students. And we're so happy that they're wanting to do this and gain some experience and see what it's like to be on an art trail and talking to customers what do you say, and also looking at other people's artwork and getting a better feel for it, and making some contacts within the local art community as well, because high school artists are very limited in their exposure to art in part because of their age. And then up at the Sheep Barn, which is in Mayville, we've got, I think, 6 art students there. And again, another photographer, and the artwork those kids are doing is just incredible. Incredible. So I'm hoping that people come out to see the students and see the different artists. We've got wood artists, we've got fiber artists, we've got jewelry makers. Marcia's a potter, and ceramics, and using the interactive map, you can click on each artist and that will bring up their website so you can see what kind of work they do. Because I've already had people say, well, I'm looking specifically for a wood artist. And it's like, oh, we have to go here for this one, here for that one. So that can really help people target what they're looking for too.
Yeah, that's wonderful to help the students out. I bet that makes the art educator in you very, very happy.
They have
To
been
say that
so
they
very
cannot
helpful.
sell their work. Their work is not for sale on this. Is that correct, Melissa?
Correct. Well, to be on the art trail and really any of these art events, New York State is very specific and picky about having a sales tax ID so that you can collect your sales tax and give them their money. So we make sure that all the artists have a sales tax ID, but that's something that we wouldn't have a high school student do because it's kind of involved, and then they have to track things, and it's a little bit too much. But we'll definitely talk to them about it and what it takes to get a sales tax ID. But that's just not something we're having them do. So their work is not necessarily for sale.
Okay. All right, we got that clear. All right. Anything else I'm missing, ladies? Anything else?
I just think you should come on the art trail, Tom.
I'll be looking for you
Oh,
at
boy.
Edgewater Art House.
Pressure's on. Pressure's on. All right, ladies, listen, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. What a wonderful conversation. I had a really good time. Thank you again. And I guess I'll just have to get out on the arts trail and see both of you at some point. Thanks a lot.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank
much
you
for
very
the opportunity, Tom.
Okay, you're welcome. The art trail will be open on Saturday and Sunday, May 23rd and 24th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can map out your trip using the interactive map listed in the show notes below. The art trail will also be open during the Labor Day weekend, September 5th and 6th. Here is the arts calendar for May 20th through mid-June. Events coming up at the 1891 Opera House include the United States Air Force Heritage Brass Band on Friday, May 22nd at 7 p.m. The final Live at the Met presentation of the opera El Último Sueño de Frida y Diego on Saturday, May 30th at 1 p.m. A presentation entitled The Erie Railroad Comes to Dunkirk, part of the Here and There series of historical lectures presented by railroad historian William Burt on Thursday, June 4th at 7 p.m. The annual Opera House Bake Sale and Basket Auction fundraiser on Saturday, June 6th, beginning at 9 a.m. in conjunction with Attic and Cellar Days in the Barker Commons. And the rescheduled presentation of the National Theatre of London's production of Hamlet on Saturday, June 13th at 1 p.m. For more information on ticket prices, please consult the Opera House website at www.fredopera.org. Westfield's Lakeshore Center for the Arts summer season includes 3 more singer-songwriter circles on May 21st, June 18th, and August 20th. Also, the 3rd annual Juice Box Organic one-act play competition will be held from June 10th through the 14th, and a production of the play The Gin Game, made famous by actors Hume Cronin and Jessica Tandy, will be presented over 2 weekends, July 17th through 19th, and again July 24th through 26th, featuring local actors Tina Rausa and yours truly, Tom Laughlin, in the 2 roles, and directed by Buffalo's David Oliver. Check out their calendar of events by clicking the link in the show notes for more information and to purchase tickets. And finally, Main Street Studios will be presenting 2 productions over the summer. Shakespeare's Hamlet in June, as well as the musical Big Fish in July. Registration for their annual Drama Day camps is also now open for the summer. Click on the link below for their website for more information. And remember, if you have an arts event you'd like mentioned on the arts calendar, please contact us at operahouse@fredopera.org or at 716-679-1891. Please try to give us a month's notice in advance, if possible, for a timely listing. Finally, an electric, high-energy show featuring the official drum line of the Buffalo Bills, Downbeat Percussion, will be presented at the 1891 Fredonia Opera House on Friday, June 5th at 7 p.m. Here's one of the co-founders, Dan English, to tell you all about it. If you want energy and an exciting show to watch, you should get down to the 1891 Fredonia Opera House on Friday, June 5th at 7 o'clock, because one of the most dynamic groups in the region is going to be down there. It's Downbeat Percussion. They're going to be doing their signature show at the Opera House, and with me to talk about that is Dan English. Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Now, Dan, what's your role with the Downbeat Percussion?
So I'm the co-owner. I do a lot of the creative directing for the group, a lot of the operations, behind the scenes type work, anything that needs to be done with the music or the effects or things to that effect.
And how did you come to this? I know you guys have been in operation since 2013, but why don't you give us the backstory?
Yeah, absolutely. So me and my two brothers and a bunch of our friends, we used to do drum corps in the area. The Empire Statesman, we were there for 7-8 years doing that. They unfortunately had to fold for financial reasons, and then we weren't ready to stop doing this yet. So we kind of got together, put our heads together. I mean, this is like almost 15 years ago now, and started thinking about what we could do as a company, blah, blah, blah. And then we just started it. We just started doing we call it, humble beginnings for sure. Cause it was beg, borrow, and steal drums and what have you. And it turned into this gigantic thing that it is today. So we just kept progressing, kept doing more and more every single year, getting more exposure and more experience. And it's evolved to what you see today.
Now, I know that you guys are considered the official drum line of the Buffalo Bills. So anybody who's been to a Bills game in the last 10 years have seen you guys perform in the, parking lots, the tailgates.
Yep.
You guys do, during the games, you're doing little things, and then you have like I think a 15-minute pre-show and all that kind of stuff. How did you get hooked up with the Bills?
So we started doing some events with the Buffalo Sabres. We did events with them for a year or two. Then we got a show outside of the Bills Stadium on their family day. They have like a family kids day. We did that, and then we got a halftime show inside the stadium. And then this was back in 2013. This is a long time ago, and got noticed by some of their people. Then they needed something from the entertainment standpoint. We kind of fit that bill really nicely. It's obviously a gig that we have loved and cherished ever since, and it's been a great time, full of memories.
Now, when you play for the Bills or any other gig that you go, like the stage shows and stuff like that, do you have different kinds of things you do for each show? Like, give us an example of what your stage show has been like. I know you've been at the Opera House probably, I think, not last year, but the year before. So some people may be familiar with what you do, but you have quite a dynamic show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so every show is a little different. So when we do shows for clients like the Bills, or we go to NASCAR, or we go to a state fair, or we do a parade on the 4th of July. Those are all very different things. So we customize our act to what the client needs for those days. The stage show, like you will see at the Opera House, that's our show, our creative show that we've put together. Now we go do that on stages all over the state and the Northeast in different capacities. And some of that material you'll hear is from the Bills game. Some of that material is stuff that you might hear in a parade. So a lot of it is recycled. So a lot of Bills fans like coming to see it because they'll notice the shout song in the performance when they're there. So it's kind of borrowed from a little bit of everything that we do, but it is a really high energy show. Like you said, a lot of the times, we love music, all different kinds of music. So a lot of the times our audience, especially at a gig like the Opera House, is used to seeing a very, I don't know, stoic is the right word.
Mellow. Let's call it mellow, Dan.
Mellow is a great word for it. And I love that. I love being a part of those shows and those audiences as well. But this is not that show, for sure. This is not that show. This is very loud, in your face, as fast as we can possibly drum. It's an exciting show and it's a fun show.
I took a look at some of your shows, some of your YouTube clips that you've got on your website, your YouTube site and stuff like that. And obviously you got a lot of young people out there because they're the ones with the most energy. So where do you get your kids from? Where do these young people all come from?
They're the ones with the most energy and the ones whose backs haven't given out yet. Who can hold the drums. I'm on my way out, to be honest. But we teach in the area all over the place. So we take pride in being like education first in whatever we do. So everyone we have is part of a drumline whose high school that we've taught at, or one of our members is a teacher at. So it all just kind of branches out around the whole state. We have members from Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, members from out in Albany. We've had people from Canada come down and play with us before. So it's a tight-knit community. You meet a lot of people doing it. And you kind of know who's who in the community and reach out to those people.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, it's like Downbeat Percussion is this one umbrella organization, but you have branches across the state and across the Northeast regions. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So when we started, we did a whole bunch of things. We did, we wrote and designed for indoor percussion shows and marching band shows, like competitive marching band shows that you'd see all over the state, different high schools. And a lot of us still do that professionally and as a hobby. And then we started building drum pads. We started making drums. We started doing all this kind of stuff. Performances is what really caught on and really was our bread and butter, because that's where we all love to be, is in front of a crowd as much as possible.
So that's how you manage to. I was looking at your schedule before I came here, which is posted on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
And it is packed. I mean,
Yeah.
packed, and I kept sitting there going, how the hell does he do 4 different gigs on the 4th of July? And I think now I finally figured it out.
Yeah. So we have like 40 people on our roster. When you come to see a show, you'll see our, I hate to call it a main group of people, but that will be, one crew. So on the 4th of July, we would send out a crew to one city and a crew to a different city at the same time. So with the 40 of those people, 7 go this way, 7 go that way. This year we're out to Rhode Island and somewhere else out of state, Connecticut or Massachusetts or something, way out there, sending a crew on a little road trip to go do those things and tour around to different states as well. So we get around for sure.
Yeah. And what kind of feedback do you usually get? I mean, what do people say after a show when they talk to you guys? What do they tell you?
The main comment, and we joke about this, the main comment we get from everyone is almost the same thing. You guys look like you're having so much fun. And that we love that, because we really are. Well, a lot of us are big kids who are still kind of doing this. And a lot of us, especially myself, are believers. And if it's not fun, there's not much point in doing it. So we try to keep it fun. We try to keep the fun as the main goal. And then the music and the business and all that kind of stuff kind of takes care of itself if you keep that as the main goal.
Now, when you have your kids lined up and they get to do all of these shows and things like that. Do One of the things I found amazing again about watching the clips is that they look so relaxed on stage, and yet you watch them and their faces look like that, I'm just here, and their hands are going
Yeah.
all over their drums. Is that a kind of thing that you teach them to do?
That's the kind of thing that they've learned to do for years and years and years before they even got to us. So the marching band activity and the marching arts and drum corps and everything, we preach muscle memory above everything. So every time we approach the drum, we want to think about exactly what we're doing. That way we practice the correct way. As an educator, we always say, practice makes perfect is a lie. Practice makes permanent. So we try to practice perfectly. There's a lot of P's we're saying here. Practice perfectly every single time so that you don't have to think about it much if your muscle memory is in place. Because we want to be able to enjoy the environment. We want to be able to perform. We want to be able to, live in the moment rather than thinking about technically what's going on. So you just have to put those seat hours in.
Mhm.
And really be dialed in to get to that point. And those are the people that we look for in auditions who are ready for that level.
And how do these young people balance their regular lives with working for Downbeat Percussion? I have to believe they've got other lives out there, things that they do
Yeah.
full time.
Yeah. We encourage people to do as much as possible. In fact, the musicians we get are pretty high caliber. So you have to share with these orchestras and these groups and these other things that other endeavors that they're doing, which is great. Most of the people who are really available are not of that level. If you're really excellent at what you do, you're in high demand in a lot of places as a musician, which is great. Those are the people that we want. So we really strive for to get a lot of people. If we have 40 people to choose from, then people sign up for what gigs will fit their schedule. And we can kind of balance our stuff around their life, fitting other people and subbing people in, and just mix and match and cruise as much as we can to see who's available for what.
So, last question, Dan, just to give us a little bit of a preview. Do you know what your playlist is going to be like? What are we going to hear? And I don't want you to give away the whole thing, but give us a clue. Give us some bait here.
Yeah, for sure. So, and in all of our shows, it's very EDM based music. So, electronic dance music, meaning a lot of bass heavy music, big speakers. Feels like you're in a nightclub.
Uh-huh.
And then we also, like I had mentioned earlier, we steal a lot from what we do with the Bills. So you'll hear songs just like you would hear in the parking lot there. Some of them are acoustic and some of them are with backing tracks. So a lot of them, like top 40 stuff you'll hear that day, are to songs that songs that you've heard on the radio with the kind of rudimental expertise on top of those songs. So it's a mix and match of kind of all that with all the bells and whistles on top.
And do you do all of the charting for all of these?
Yes. Yep. Either us or we have some members who do some writing as well. So we encourage them to kind of uh, put their flair on things or submit things that they would want played. And some have been very good, and we've used those in shows as well. So it's all done in house. It's all written by humans. There is no AI in this yet. It is us uh, being creative, getting together, putting our heads together, brainstorming, and coming up with a cool show.
Oh, I think it's going to be a very cool show. And I'll bet you, have you got a chance to see inside the new stadium, Led? Have they let you in the new Bill Stadium yet, or Highmark
No,
Stadium? No?
no, they have not. Not too many people have been in there,
Oh.
from what I understand. But we see all the videos, we see all the pictures. It looks really exciting. We're excited to see it in person for sure.
Well, I'll bet you're going to have something super special for the first game, I'm sure.
Yeah, got to come up with something really cool. It's gonna be a long summer of preparation.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Dan English from Downbeat Percussions. Thank you very much for joining
Thank
me.
you
I
so much,
appreciate
sir.
you're very much nice. Your energy in the interview is just as high as your energy on the show. So we're all looking
Sorry, man.
forward to it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Downbeat Percussions will be at the 1891 Fredonia Opera House on Friday, June 5th at 7 p.m. Tickets are $5, general admission for all ages. Call the box office at 716-679-1891 or go online at www.fredopera.org/tickets to purchase tickets for this dynamic show. Two things I'd like to mention before I close out this season of Notes from the Aisle Seat. The first is to encourage you to become a member of the 1891 Fredonia Opera House if you're not already. Membership gets you discounts on most events presented at the Opera House, as well as a few more perks. But far more importantly, membership allows the Opera House to have financial stability as it prepares each season of artistic presentations. Members are the backbone of keeping the Opera House open and running. Without membership support, it would be hard to keep the doors open. Whatever contribution you can make to become a member is gratefully accepted. So please use the link at the bottom of the show notes to make your membership contribution today. The second thing is to let you know that we are planning some changes for this podcast in the coming season. I've been doing this as a solo act since its inception, but perhaps it's now time to bring in other voices to contribute to the podcast's content. Over the summer, Rick Davis and I will be looking for additional contributors to change the format a little bit and give you a break from listening to only my voice all the time. So, now's your chance to become a contributor to Notes from the Aisle Seat. If you'd like to contribute to the podcast by, say, doing an interview, giving us a preview of an upcoming event, maybe reflecting on a show you saw at the Opera House, or perhaps contributing a vocal essay on some aspect of the arts, either locally or nationally, please let us know. Just email us at operahouse@fredopera.org or call 716-679-1891 to ask to talk to Rick Davis and pitch your idea. We'll be fleshing out whatever ideas we get over the summer months. We will be looking to shape a new and hopefully more diverse format for the 2026-27 season. I hope to hear from several of you with your ideas. And that's it for this Staycation edition of Notes from the Aisle Seat. My thanks to Bill Smith, Marcia Merrins, Melissa Meyers, and Dan English for being my guests. Notes from the Aisle Seat is a production of the 1891 Fredonia Opera House in Fredonia, New York. For more information on any of the Opera House's events, call the box office at 716-679-1891. Visit the website at www.fredopera.org or email at operahouse@fredopera.org. Notes from the Aisle Seat is available wherever you get your podcasts and also on the Opera House YouTube channel. If you like this podcast, please consider following us by clicking the follow button on our home website at aisleseat.podbean.com and spreading the word through your social media feeds. If you have an arts event you'd like featured on the podcast, why don't you drop us a line at operahouse@fredopera.org and we'll see about featuring your event. Please try to give us a month's notice in advance if possible to facilitate timely scheduling. If you have any suggestions, comments, or criticisms of the podcast, just drop us a line at operahouse@fredopera.org. We'll be glad to receive your feedback. This is our final episode for the 2025-26 season. Our first episode of the 2026-27 season will be available on Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. I'm Tom Laughlin, and until then, be safe out there, and be kind to one another. Westfield's Lakeshore Center for the Arts summer season includes Westfield's Lakeshore Center for the Arts summer season includes 3 more singer-songwriter circles on May 21st, June 18th, and August 20th. And a production of the play The Gin Game